Welcome, everybody, to a new point 5 episode of TMI, Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. This is where we go back to an old episode that has two features that we covered, and maybe the main feature at the time might have been considered a big deal, but it certainly isn't anymore. So that is especially the case here, where we are going back to episode 22, where we covered the Netflix movie Extinction. Yeah, I don't remember it either. And as its co-feature, we covered the Arnold classic Total Recall. So on this point 5 episode, we are giving you just Total Recall. But if you would like to listen to the whole thing, it's there on episode 22. But for now, please enjoy our discussion of Total Recall.
TMI. Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. And now, your hosts, Jeff Nerfherder Chandler and Jim Kaiju Baker.
So anybody who has not seen Total Recall, this is the Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle from 1990? 90, right? Or 91?
Yeah, 90. 91 right. Was the year of Terminator 2. So this is definitely 1990.
91? I want to. Okay. All right. Yeah, so this was directed by Paul Verhoeven. I will tell you, I watched the DVD commentary version with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Paul Verhoeven.
Oh, that must have been.
Between their two accents, you couldn't understand a single word they were saying. It was chaos. Good thing I've seen this movie numerous times. But Paul Verhoeven, so he had come off RoboCop the year before, 2 years before, a couple years. And then he also did Starship Troopers, I think, afterwards. But all three of those movies, to me, well, half of the cast is in RoboCop and in this Total Recall. But to me, they kind of share the same aesthetics. They almost look like they could live in the same universe visually.
Oh, but, definitely. Yeah, his movies all have a kind of a through line, I think.
Yeah. So, and Carlco, which was the studio that produced this, is no longer in existence. But
was Cameron in any way, shape, or form attached to?
No, Carlco? I never heard James Cameron's name mentioned.
Just because this was who produced Terminator as well.
Carlco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know whatever came of that studio, but yeah, right. I think right after Terminator, something happened there because you never really saw them again. So, but again, this kind of plays with memories, and the movie opens with a vision of a man and a woman, and they're climbing the mount of Mars. They're on Mars' surface. They fall, and then he immediately gets exposed to the non-oxygen, starts freaking out, and then our main character, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is Doug Quaid, wakes up. He's having a dream. And next to him is his lovely wife, Sharon Stone, who I think may have been one of her very first movies.
And she was lovely.
She was lovely.
Yes.
She was lovely indeed. Her name was Lori, by the way. So I did find out that Dino De Laurentiis actually owned the rights to this at one point, and that Schwarzenegger convinced him to sell it. And then after RoboCop, he went to Paul Verhoeven. He's like, we have to work together. So he's the one. He championed this thing.
Dino, sell me the movie.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, for a 1990s movie, visually this movie is spectacular. All of the special effects are either blue screens, miniatures, matte paintings. All of the special effects as far as like the facial stuff when they're on Mars and later on when he disguises himself, they're all real prosthetics. So this is all real world animatronic puppets. And it still holds together. I mean, I enjoyed it immensely, for a movie. Although Verhoeven came out, there's a scene early on when Quaid is going to work. And he walks through the giant X-ray machine.
Yeah.
He turns into this animated skeleton. And he's like, oh, this was like the first CG computer graphic ever. And I'm just like, that's so wrong. It's not even funny. Because 84, I remember specifically, last Starfighter was blown away by the CG ships. So that was already like 6 years prior to this. And before that, it was 85. When was the young Sherlock Holmes? That was really the first big CG character when he fights the stained glass knight. ILM actually won an award for that.
An Academy Award?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Yep.
And to me, I think that was really the first time. I think I read somewhere that ILM, it took them 4 months to do that scene back in the day. But anyways, so he starts questioning reality. And every time, he's in a train and he sees this advertisement or whatever for recall, which is this, have you ever dreamed of going to Mars? Have you ever dreamed? So now all of a sudden it's kind of feeding into his fantasy, this idea of these dreams he's having. And so he wants to follow through. And everywhere he goes, he's got people talking him out of it. And you're like, all right, are they just telling him he's crazy for the sake of telling him he's crazy? Or is there something more going on here? And as the movie gets into it, you realize there's something more going on here. Or is there?
Well, there definitely is something more going on here. So he goes to this recall to try to implant a memory of a Mars vacation into himself, because his wife does not want to go to Mars, but he's fascinated by the planet, even though they're having kind of a revolutionary war, kind of an uprising.
Early in the morning when he's having breakfast with his wife. And they actually foresaw the big giant TV screens that we all have in our house now. His entire wall becomes one big TV screen. Yeah. And they can change it at will, and suddenly it's a tranquil beach, or it's a mountaintop or whatever. But I thought that was pretty cool.
So he goes to recall to get the Mars vacation implanted into his head. The head doctor there is Dr. Lull, which I thought was a very nice play on words.
Lull him to
sleep. And then, of course, when he starts to go under, they hit the other erasure that's happened in his head. It kind of takes it away for a second, because in the inimitable Arnold fashion, he starts to go
right. I think the amount of facial expressions that this guy goes through in this movie is just ridiculous.
And he's got to do the Arnold arg, I think, in every single one of his. Because you blew my cover. And they try to knock him out, and it's hilarious because the head of recall says, "Put him in a cab. Nobody can know he's been here. I'll refund his money."
His money.
Then he wakes up in a cab with the animatronic driver.
Yep, Johnny
Cab. Yeah, Johnny Cab. And then the movie really takes off. Then then he finds out all of his friends, his wife, are plants to keep him kind of sedated, because he has all this memory that could bring down the government, the fascistic government that's on Mars. And for some reason, they haven't killed him. Did they explain why? They just never just killed him?
Well, he was best friends with Cohagen. It was like his buddy. So I guess they felt, you can take this movie two different ways, because when he's in recall and they're talking to the used car salesman guy is trying to sell him on this package, he spells out the entire movie. He tells him exactly what's going to happen. You're going to be an international spy. People are going to try and kill you. You're going to go on an adventure. Like, that's exactly what happens. So is it all?
It could be.
Is everything that you're watching from that moment? I mean, even when they sedate him and, all right, what's your sexuality? Are you hetero or are you gay? And he's like, hetero. And the girl just like smiles like, yeah, bitch. And then he crafts. He crafts the perfect woman. They're a little CG woman, how tall you want, brunette, blonde, and it's the girl Melinda that he meets later in the movie. Yeah. That is his ideal woman. So because he knew her in the past, did that subconscious come through and he redesigned this? Or is everything we've seen just complete fantasy? So it plays fast and loose. You can take this movie two completely different ways. In my mind,
it's true.
You either believe it that he was a secret agent, and he's now, all these things are coming back and resurfacing, and he's now on a run for his life to figure out what the hell's going on, or is it really all just in his head, because it is exactly what the guy sold him.
Yeah, I think from what I read, the original script or story, one of the two had a more ambiguous ending, where it opens up that it could have been all in his head.
Well, the end of the movie is exactly the beginning of the movie. It's his dream. They're just not in spacesuits.
Yeah, it doesn't come to conclusion, really.
No, I would love it if at the very end of the movie he wakes up again, just like he did in the beginning, and it was just one big loop.
Right.
That would have been awesome. Do you know Jeff Bridges was actually originally cast for this? He was supposed to play Hauser when Dino De Laurentiis had the...
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this was a stretch for Arnold. This was a big kind of dialogue, plot-driven role. And, Arnold is Arnold. I don't think unless you're going to put him in an Oscar bait type movie, he would completely fail. But in any kind of an action scenario, you just buy it. You don't care that he's got an accent. You don't care about the backs. Why does this guy have an Austrian accent? Or you just kind of buy Arnold in movies like this.
You mentioned the script. They mentioned in the commentary that there are 30 different versions of the script at some point.
Man.
So, and it was all based on a Philip Dick novel.
Yeah.
So, and they also revealed that they never actually implanted, or at least the woman in Recall said we never implanted the actual.
Yeah, we didn't get that far yet.
Right, we didn't get that far. Now he's on the run. Everyone's shooting at him. They filmed this all in Mexico City, so all that concrete bunkers, that's like some headquarters down there in Mexico City, and they refer to it as architecturally, it's called New Brutalism.
No.
I was like, that's pretty interesting, but because it's brutally just.
The whole movie is just brutal because
it is.
Verhoeven, as a director, is just embraces the gory violence.
Well, you watch Starship Troopers, and that is.
Yeah.
He took
Even
everything.
RoboCop.
Yeah. I mean, guys are getting gunned down. There's a scene where he actually uses a pedestrian as a human shield, and this guy gets blown apart multiple times. And then
some poor backpacker,
right. The poor kid's on his way he's going home for college break. And he becomes a human shield.
Yeah, that whole sequence after he gets out of Recall, and then Michael Ironside shows up. After he has the fight with Sharon Stone, Laurie
Richter,
who reveals herself as Michael Ironside's girlfriend in reality. And she gives him 2 crotch shots there. She punches him in the crotch, then kicks him in the crotch. And both times you see his gap tooth. That I thought was wonderful. And then Michael Ironside has this sidekick. You never know what this character's name is, but the guy with the glasses.
And the spiky
hair. Yeah. Very much like the White Urkel. Every time I kept expecting him to say, did I do that?
Richter. And Michael Ironside is just one of the greatest character actors ever. He just chews up the scenery.
A bonus to the scene where Arnold has to wrap a wet towel around his head to block the tracking device.
He gets a secret phone call. He gets to a location, and then this guy, it's all like exposition. This guy, I got a secret briefcase here for you. You got to come downstairs.
You never see this guy again after that.
No, and of course, by the time he gets down to the payphone, there's an old lady trying to take the briefcase away, and he just beats it out of her.
Man, this is mine. And then he bows to her.
He bows to her, right? But wet towel is enough to keep their scanners from chasing him. I guess there's no aluminum in the future. Yeah. So.
And we have to discuss the "Get Your Ass to Mars" quote. One of Arnold's most quoted lines is when he opens up the briefcase and there's a message
from himself,
from Hauser. And the message itself is just so smug and self-satisfied. Hauser is not panicked at all. Oh, if you've gotten this, that means they've erased my memory.
Right. Yeah.
Now it's up to you.
Get your ass to Mars.
And then he instructs him to pull out the tracking device, which is one of the most harrowing scenes.
Such a great, and again, because that's all real world prosthetics and animatronic, and he just digs that thing deep. Now stick it up your nose, and you're gonna hear a crunch. It's that would stop right there.
Don't worry, it's self guided. Hear the crunch.
Right. And the thing is that Hauser is such that I would never want to be him anyway. So,
but again, pulling out that thing allows us another.
Yep. And they were just abusing animals left and right. At the end of most movies, they have that little no animals were harmed in the making of this, but they're shooting rats. He's pushing them off the thing at the end. Ironside, Richter's shooting at the rats. Later on, the guy knocks over the fish tank, and the fish are flopping around on the ground.
Yeah, I don't think a rat would have as much innards as when Richter
no, there's some serious
sprays all over the.
Yeah, that was a great scene, right? So get your ass to Mars, and there's this blood goofing down.
Now, did you read also? Not only Jeff Bridges was in the running for this role, but also Richard Dreyfuss was tied to it at one point.
No, I didn't hear that.
And Patrick Swayze at another point was tied to it. Yeah, I think this would have been a great Swayze vehicle.
That would have been wild.
As a follow-up to Roadhouse? Come on.
But all 3 for the lead role of
of Doug. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the Quaid Hauser.
One other thing which they mentioned in the commentary, which was that Michael Ironside was originally supposed to be RoboCop.
Really?
That would have
been
a completely
awesome.
different movie.
It would have been.
So now Hauser's on the run. He's been told to get his ass to Mars. And then they just cut to the ship landing on Mars. So we don't know how we do know how he got there, because he now where he got this fat lady suit from, who knows? But you got to give this woman credit, because she's a real actress. Priscilla Allen was her name. And she's just big, heavy-set woman with red hair. And she's trying to get through immigration, I guess. Richter was on the same ship as he was. They were on the same ship the entire time. Because he comes off the ship like 2 seconds after Arnold arrives on Mars.
Yeah, they were.
So they're riding the same ship.
Yeah,
right. She starts haywiring, and that's another great scene, which is she's pulling her mouth and she's stretching her hair and her ears, and people.
Which is
like,
Arnold trying to get the mask off.
But this was the actress herself was doing all that leading up to the prosthetic head reveal where it opens up and you realize that it's all just an animatronic and he's underneath it. And then he throws her head and get ready for a surprise. And then she blows up.
It's like, why can't she say anything but 2 weeks? And
then we're told you need to get to see Kuato.
Kuato, yes.
You see that in the background. You see, I think Kuato's name was mentioned early on in some of the news footage that was going on behind him when he was having his conversation with his wife. And then when he got on,
the resistance leader.
Right, correct. And then when you get to Mars, you see Kuato, wanted rebel leader posters kind of littered about. So, they lay the groundwork that we're eventually going to see Kuato. But we also get exposed to the three-breasted woman, which was always a thrill.
Everyone remembers that. Everyone remembers where they were, right?
Yeah, exactly. But he's told he has to go to the red light district in Mars. So is that the red light district?
It was Venusville, wasn't it?
Venusville? Okay, regardless. And there's mutants running around. And the mutants exist because they were early
settlers that lived in cheaply shielded tenements or something.
Yeah. And we got some cool-ass mutants running around. I mean, they are mutated.
Yes, they are. It's like the Hills Have Eyes type.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And we meet Benny, the cabbie.
The duplicitous cabbie.
Yeah, Benny, so you think he's a good guy. Did you catch so we know that Michael Ironside went on later to play Ham in the TV show V. Do you remember his little fat bearded sidekick on that show?
On V? No.
Yes, correct. There's two. Yeah, they were always buddy together. That guy's on the train with Hauser for like a split second.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you. Mickey Jones. That's his name.
Okay.
So we're off and running. We got to go to the red light district now, and we got to find Melinda because he gets a note. He gets a handwritten note from himself. Go find Melinda for a good time.
Yeah, which they over-explain to the audience because he has to write the word.
He actually writes out Melinda again.
Yeah.
Is that my handwriting?
That is my handwriting.
I wrote it myself. So Melinda, Rachel Tickerton? I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
She is a familiar face from a lot of 80s movies.
Yeah.
And of course, Sharon Stone's character comes back because there has to be some girl-on-girl fighting.
Oh, that was a great fight scene, cat fight. Cat fight.
Kuato is killed. He's a casualty in all this. Yeah.
If you've never seen this movie, Kuato is this half mutant that lives inside. It's like one of these Siamese twin people where the second body never really kind of goes.
Right.
So it's just this mutant inside of a human, and he's running around. The guy's running around all the movie. Then all of a sudden he does this
reveal. Then he like opens his shirt.
His chest is like 8 times the size that it was 2 seconds ago, and you got this Kuato. You must start the generator, and he's got this fat little fingers and this pussy. I mean, just ugly, horrible looking thing.
Now, do you remember the X-Files episode Humbug, where they must have taken a page right from this movie where the killer is the Siamese twin of the one freak from the Freak Show. I
have a buddy who actually had an extended hernia, and he actually referred to it. Longest time. And when he went and finally had the surgery, they had a big party for him, and the wife made a cake with Kuato, and Kuato has left the building.
Did it become sentient? The
yes, it now works at Walmart. Can I help you in automotives?
So the idea of Kuato was David Cronenberg's, because he was the director that was set to direct this when it was De Laurentiis's.
Oh, interesting. That makes sense because that is just an off the wall visual.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on as it is, but when Quado comes into the picture, you just like even Arnold's like, what the? Yeah.
And Arnold gets to drop the F-bomb left and right.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of cursing in this.
Yeah,
and then that recall agent shows up again and basically explains the rest of the movie to him. The Eshmar or whatever he was.
Yes. There's that scene where Arnold is looking for that little bead of sweat to show on his face.
Right. Yeah. You're not going to shoot me because this is not real. None of this is real. And then you see a sweat. And that leads into him end up shooting Lori as well because she beats the crap out of him. Thanks for that's for making me come to Mars. And then he shoots her and he has the best line ever, which is, consider this a divorce.
And this was set to get an X rating, and they had to go back and cut it down. Yeah. Yeah. For violence, yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, even a 3-boobied lady gets shot in the back.
Yeah.
In the back.
And at the end, when the end becomes the beginning, where Arnold and Melinda, what is her name?
Melinda.
When they're out there exposed to the Martian elements, and they're about to get their eyeballs sucked out, and they're both doing the arg, right? That all the oxygen explodes out of the surface, and then their faces are back to normal again. You'd think that they're at this point their eyes would be buggy permanently.
Out. They just, I'm back to normal, but I got one eye like dangling down to my chin.
Yeah,
and of course, Cohagen. Right, so it's a big chase scene, and he takes an elevator that takes him right where he needs to go. Suddenly, as Quado's on his deathbed, he's like, you must release the generators, and you find out there's this big, huge nuclear generator. There's these giant pistons just hiding in the mountain that are going to create oxygen,
which are the alien artifacts that they've been referencing throughout the film.
Right.
Correct?
Right. Correct. And Cohagen knew about them and they've never employed them or whatever.
Because then he would have no more monopoly on air.
Right, which I think, isn't that the plot of Spaceballs? President Scroob was going to deny them oxygen so he could sell it back to them, Perry Air.
Yeah. Also, if you ever watch the full-length version of the Lorax, the theatrical version, that's also the bad guys' plot, is to sell Thneedville their air because everything is polluted. There you go.
Spaceballs.
Dr. Seuss facts for you.
Are you talking about the DreamWorks animated?
I am talking about that. Okay. Yeah.
So he ends up releasing the oxygen and everybody survives and he does exactly what he was told it was going to happen. He was going to save the planet. He was going to save everybody. Do you think Steve Jobs watched this and he was like, oh, you can unlock your phone with your finger. I'm going to steal that. Because all he does is touch the alien thing. And suddenly these giant generators that have been locked up for thousands of years, if not millions of years, comes to life.
And they do. And they hang up their picture phones by a swipe as well.
There you go. Swipe left. So I still believe that everything was, it was all in his head. And they did tell him at the end of the adventure, he was going to be lobotomized. So that's why he just cuts the black. His adventure ended, and now he's...
See, I don't think so. I'd like to think that it all happened.
So do I.
Of course you do. I just like the idea that you can take it either way. So, yeah, no, everyone wants it to be real. That's more fun.
So he got his ass to Mars. So how many popcorn buckets would we...
This is fun. I got to go 4. I'm going 4. This was fun to watch again.
Yeah, I go 4. I mean, it was sort of cutting edge for its day. It was
very much. Like I said, special effects are just... I mean, the one thing that they kept talking about is that they were constantly filming green screen and blue screen, which back in the day was, you're going to drop into special effects later, but everything had a red hue to it. They had to go back and film numerous times in order to be able to get that hue right. Because Arnold was saying, even like when he picked up something metallic, it would have a blue cast on him. And the special effects guys really had to work overtime to kind of get rid of all that. All Mars stuff, that's all miniatures. And those things, you got trains moving, it's not just a static painting. When they pan, it pans left and right. You've got cranes, you got trains, you got, little people walking around. Very impressive for the day.
Well, we've done this before, so I would give it 3 3/4 buckets. I wouldn't quite go 4, just because there is like a B movie element going on here. It's not quite graduated to the big leagues. A lot of the sets seem like TV set things. So the action is great. Arnold is great. I love the story, but I wouldn't go quite 4 buckets. It's like violent, pulpy sci-fi, but it's still in that B movie realm for me. So
what would take it?
What movie theater would you get 3/4 of a popcorn?
I mean, you would. You totally would. You would get
if you just denied me butter, maybe you'd be like,
Yeah.
that's 3/4.
But yeah, Mike, what movie did you give no popcorn buckets to? If you can give no popcorn buckets, then I can give 3 3/4.
So Jim, would you take this to 4 if during the fight sequence with Richter at the end and he gets his arms chopped off, Arnold says, "You've been disarmed."
That may have done it for me.
I that's such a missed opportunity. I don't know why.
But he is Arnold. He's granted. Yeah. He's granted this. So let's give our box office information as we normally do for our classic. Budget of $65 million. Back then, that's an expensive movie to make in 1990. So the budget was $65 million. Box office was $261 million. So it made it back. It was a hit. It was a hit for Arnold. At the time, one of the most expensive movies of all time.
That was for the 30 versions of the script.
So there you go. So Arnold will bleed into our confessional this week.
Confessionals.
And the confessional is, and I'm sure everybody has their own, but what is your favorite Arnold quote? Not in Total Recall necessarily, but of all time. So let's have Mike go first. Mike rarely goes first, so let's hear it.
So mine isn't like, I don't think it's, a classic one that everyone repeats in their Arnold voice. But my favorite line is from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And it's,
"Come with me if you want to live."
and that's what he says to John and Sarah in sort of that medical facility. And just like the look on her face and him just saying that was like, I was like, awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, I think it is an important line in that movie, definitely.
Yeah, because you realize, well, that's when you first realize that he's not the same Terminator from the first one. He's not the bad guy.
Right. And she's going to take sort of a leap of faith, because she's just scared, at that particular moment.
Nice.
And that is one of his better movies, too. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, that was such a, we'll have to dig deep on that one one day.
Yeah. So mine, I'm going obscure for my favorite Arnold line. Red Heat.
Editor's note from 2026. The following quote actually comes from Raw Deal, not Red Heat. I'm just surprised I didn't get called out on that earlier.
I don't even remember the plot of this movie. All I remember is the line where Arnold and his wife are having a domestic dispute in the beginning of the movie. It's not Sharon Stone. It's another actress whose name escapes me. But she is a little tipsy, and she's upset with him one thing or other and throws a cake at him that she's just baked. He ducks, smashes against the wall. He stands up, looks at the wall, looks at her, goes,
"You should not drink and bake."
But that's my favorite Arnold line.
That's funny. Well, you told me that we said off air that Predator's off the table because we will be reviewing that. So I won't go down that road. You'd have to bleep it out anyways. But mine is from Kindergarten Cop.
Oh,
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
My kids say that all day long.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Is that before or after he pulls the ferret out of the trunk of his car?
Yeah, that ferret was just...
Oh, wait a second, kids. Hold on. I just remembered something. And
he stole that from the set of Beastmaster, by the way.
Yeah, look at my ferret.
Look at my ferret. You get called into the office now, you pull that on a kid.
I think we've pretty much exhausted the subject matter of this show, so we're done, I think.
All right.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening again.
Thank you.
Come back next week, please.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
Ciao.
If you like what you just heard, be sure to follow TMI Confessionals of the Nerd Kind on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, or whatever you listen to your podcasts on. Also, be sure to email us at tmipodcast2018@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on all of our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, Threads. Just go to tmiconfessionalspodcast.com. All of our links are there. And leave us a 5-star review. See you at the concession stand.